Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone and welcome to my presentation. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dyah Pikanthi Diwanti from Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta. In my presentation, I would like to present my presentation about the influence of organizational culture and readiness for change in human resources to the organizational entrepreneur of business agency of Muhammadiyah Women Organization with competence as intervening variable. The aim of this presentation is to show how organizational culture and readiness for change in human resources influence the organizational entrepreneur of business agency of Muhammadiyah Women Organization with competence as intervening variable. In my presentation, I will focus on 5 major issues. There are my research background, review of related literature, research methodology, finding and discussion, and the last is conclusion. I would like to give you some background information about my research. Let's see in the next slide. The first, human resources. Human resources is a strategic resources owned by an organization. The existence of organization nowadays has been quite competitive. An organization should be able to respond toward phenomena which are caused by influential environmental power changes. The second, in Indonesia, there are both profit and non-profit organization. Non-profit organization inevitably requires business units for running the management, including the human resources. The third, we talk about the competence. The competence possessed by human resources would influence the cultural climate with an organizational. The culture of organization begins from the founding fathers' vision and missions. And the role of human resources in the organizational entrepreneurship is as important as the required competence within the entrepreneurship itself. And the last in this section is the setting of my research. This research is implemented in the unit business of Buana, Kendal due to several reasons. Buana Kendal has varied unit business, extensive network such as the sector of regional governments and private instances, has eminent program so-called I Created I, or independence, creativity, and innovation. Let's move to the next point. In the next slide, my review of related literature. The first, organizational theory. Classic organization theory argues that the organization effectivity and efficiency can only be achieved by formulating organizational principles. According to Santo, in 2005, the principles involve clear goals determination, government unity, balance, delegation, coordination, and reward. According to Sutarto in 2006, suggests that such point of view is considered as the model of bureaucracy organization. The second, organizational entrepreneurship theory. The term entrepreneurship was initially derived from the French language, interpreted from Hartono 1996, which means to run, to perform, and to strive. This French word was then adapted into English as entrepreneur or entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial. Okay, let's move to the next point. In the next slide, about review of related literature. There are three theories here: organizational cultural theory, human resources readiness for change, and human resources competence theory. Allow me to explain one by one. Organizational culture theory. There are several definitions related to organizational culture, such as the one expressed by Gibson, Ivancevic, and Donnelly in 1987. That organizational culture is a unique value system, a certain belief owned by the members within an organization. According to Edward Burnett Taylor in Kunchoroningrat 2005, culture or civilization is the human's complexity of knowledge, belief, morals, competence, and habits as community member. Human resources readiness for change. Organizational change is a planned transformation in the organization structure, technology, or people involved within an organization. There are three important points that become the consideration of change: the awareness of current inappropriate condition, and the need of aspect innovation and the recent phase problem. And the last in this point, human resources competence theory. According to Mangkunegaran in 2005, that assert that competence is one's fundamental factor which makes him or her have special distinguished capability. Okay. Let's move to the next slide. We talk about my research methodology. This research was quantitative or usually called as number calculation. In this research, there will be the effect of each variable. Variable organizational culture or X1, variable human resources readiness for change or X2, competence of Z, and organizational entrepreneurship or Y. This research used survey technique in the form of questionnaire, with population sampling as the main data collection. This was to provide a causal explanation between variables through hypothesis testing. The location of this research was in Buana or Badan Amal Usaha Nasyatul Aisyah of Kendal Regency, Central Java. Specifically addressed at Gedung Dakwah Muhammadiyah, Pemuda Street, number 42 until 46, Karanggeneng, Pengulon, Kendal, Jawa Tengah. The population of this research involved 100 personnel of the business unit organization. including its leader and members. The return questionnaire was 79. The data was obtained from questionnaire distribution toward R tables. Thus, each variable used in this research is reliable. Okay, allow me to explain about multicollinearity tests. There are two tables here, table 3 and table 4. This test is to find out whether there is high correlation between independent variables. If there is correlation, multicollinearity problem takes place. In this research, VIF value is below 10. Tolerance value is higher than 0.10. Therefore, there is no multicollinearity problem in this research. Next, here's. Allow me to explain about heteroscedastic tests. There are two tables here, table 5 and table 6. As shown in the table, the significant value is higher than 0.05, indicating no heteroscedasticity. It also indicates that there is no heteroscedasticity on the regression model. Therefore, the regression model is feasible to predict the tested variables. Let's move to the next point about normality tests. There are two tables here, table 7 and table 8. Normality test is used to learn whether the dependent and independent variables in regression model have normal distribution. Assume significant to tail value has more than 0.05 value. Therefore, the data are distributed normal. And then let's move in the next slide. There is two tables here, table 9 and table 10. It's about multiple regression analysis. From the table 9, the value of adjusted R-square is 0.640. It means the organization entrepreneurship is affected by the variable of organization culture by 64% and the readiness of human resources for change. The remaining 36% is explained by other variables outside the models used in this research. And from table 10, the value of adjusted R-square is 0.792. It means the entrepreneur is affected by the variable of organization culture by 79.2%. So, the readiness of human resources for change and competence as the intervening variable. The remaining 20.8% is explained by other variables outside the models used in this research. Okay, in the next slide, we can see simultaneous significant tests or if statistic tests. There are two tables here, table 11 and table 12. From table 11, the value of F count 70.266, that is bigger than the value of F table 3.97, and the significant value of 0.000 is smaller than 0.05. The result indicate that the variable of organizational culture and the readiness of human resource for change have positive and significant effects simultaneously toward organization entrepreneurship. And from table 12, we can see that the value of F code 99.829 that is bigger than the value of F table 3.12 and the significant value of 0.000 is smaller than 0.05. So, the result indicate that the variable of organizational culture, readiness of human resources, of change, and competence have positive and significant effects simultaneously toward organization entrepreneurship. Okay, in the next slide, there are individual parameter significant tests or T-statistic tests. Hypothesis 1 testing or H1, Hypothesis 2 testing or H2. In Table 13, we can see that the value of organization culture is less than 0.05 and T-count value of 3.341 is bigger than T-table of 1.664. And Hypothesis 2 testing, the value of the readiness of human resources of change is 0.001. The result illustrates the significant value that is less than 0.05 and the value of T-count of 3.300 that is bigger than the value of T-table of 1.664. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Hypothesis 3 testing or H3, Hypothesis 4 testing or H4, Hypothesis 5 testing or H5. From Hypothesis 3 testing, the value is competence. Variable is 0.000. The result indicates the significance is less than 0.05 and the count value of 6.219 is bigger than T-table of 1.664. Therefore, it can be concluded that Hypothesis 3 is accepted, and it means that competence has positive and significant toward organization entrepreneurship. Hypothesis 4 testing, the value of hypothesis organization culture variable is 0.046. The result shows that the significant value is less than 0.05 and the count value of 2.026 is bigger than T-table of 1.664. And also, Hypothesis 5 testing, the value of human resources readiness for change is 0.049. The result indicates that the significant value is less than 0.05 and the value of T-count of 2.002 is bigger than T-table 1.664. Therefore, it can be concluded that Hypothesis 5 is accepted. Okay, in the next slide, you can see path analysis and social tests. The direct effect of organization culture towards organization entrepreneurship is 0.208. Of organization culture toward organization entrepreneurship through competence is 0.422 multi 0.542 equal 0.228. Therefore, it can be included that the value of indirect effect more than direct effect. Therefore, it can be concluded that the intervening competence is able to be the mediator between culture and organization entrepreneurship. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Can see that path analysis, and this is my research conclusion. The effect of organization culture, the readiness of human resources for change toward organization entrepreneurship with competence as the intervening variables states that there is significant and positive result with the existence of independent and dependent variable effect with human resource competence as the intervening variable. From two variable tests, organization culture variable affect more toward organization culture. Well, that's all, and thank you very much.